Today, I'm going to be going over some things that I actively think during a Jailbird game and hopefully help you get better at Jailbird. Now, I'm not going to pretend I'm some pro or good at the game because I'm not. I still make plenty of mistakes, but I picked up on a few things that have helped me improve. And actually, this video was requested by someone in the comments of my last video, so shout out to you for the suggestion. So if you're struggling with Jailbird or just want to improve your gameplay, hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a different mindset going into your next games. With that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, so on a lot of maps, you're going to get a screen like this when you're attacking. Most people, you're going to go on TikTok, you're going to go on whatever, and you're not going to be paying attention. I've been doing that. I do that. I look over my second monitor sometimes, but you got to pay attention because look, you can see people up here in the top right. So I actually use that to my advantage and I run towards where they should be and pre-fire that angle or hold that angle knowing that there's people there. And sometimes I get a kill from it, sometimes I don't. Also, where I pick to spawn. So on every single map, I kind of have a spot where I actually like spawning at. It's a spot that I am comfortable with and I feel like benefits me and my playstyle the most. Now, I can't tell you where that spot is personally as, you know, it's my spot. It's where I personally like spawning the most. However, how I find that spot is playing the same map over and over again, picking the same spot and seeing whether or not I like, you know, running to a certain door, running to a certain place. You still got to be unpredictable. You know, you can't just run to the same door every single round. I'm kind of victim to that because I like one door way more than the other. I like running through one side way more than the other because I like clearing out from like a certain area and then moving to the next area and it feels smooth to me. However, that becomes really predictable and people are able to predict it really easily. So, you know, find multiple doors that you like going through, find multiple spawns that you like, but, you know, try and, if you're starting out, pick a door, pick a spawn that you really like spawning on per map. Now, I'll be honest, this game isn't that deep. You're playing against plumbers 90% of the time, people that just got off school, people playing just before school. They're like in elementary, you know, it's not the hardest game in the world. It is insanely easy, to be completely honest. However, I think everything just comes with time. It's the thing with FPS games. It's just, you know, once you play more and more, you'll be better than someone who just started. You know, it's always like that for all FPS games. Now, I can't really teach movement. I can't teach aim. I can't teach head level. You always want to be at head level, but, you know, it is hard to explain that, but it's just being decent at FPS games, which is something that, you know, everyone's going to get good at over time. Peeking angles in a certain way, which honestly, I know how I'm supposed to peek angles, but I usually don't do it the right way. So if you're trying to learn from someone, I'll be honest, I'm probably not the best person, but I'll still try and give the best advice I can. Now, another thing that's really big in this game is also hearing, you know, hearing where your enemies are. I feel like that's a big portion of a lot of games is the hearing of your enemies. Now, I'll be honest, there's a bunch of bugs in this game where, like, you know, you'll hear walking, but it's yourself and it sounds behind you, but it's not. Or you'll hear walking of a dead person, or you'll hear random noises that aren't actually even people, and it's just like really odd, and it's just a glitch. That's just the game. You know, it's gonna be glitchy. It's Roblox. It's not the best, but it's still, you know, something that you can use to your advantage a lot of the time, where I actually hide behind boxes, or I wait for a sound cue close to a door, or I wait for them to knife the door, which, by the way, you should never knife a door. Like, almost never should you ever be knifing a door. It is like the worst thing ever, and it takes way too many of them in order to break it. It's just a terrible idea. But now let me go in depth in a certain play that I did in this match, which is right now, funny enough. So if you didn't notice, my teammate died literally to my left. I look over and there's my other teammate. So my other teammate's going to probably go down the side. So those other two doors that are right next to me are going to be mine and my responsibility. So what I do is I hear a guy to my right, so I go ahead and swing out on him. Alright, so I shot him a bit. Unluckily, didn't hit a headshot, but I saw him moving to the left after I shot him a little bit, so I know he's in that middle-ish bit if you know the map layout. So I know you can either peek that left door or peek the right door. I know that my teammate could also just swing the window, but I was highly doubting that. So what I did is I walk across and I pre-fire at the last second. Now, why do I pre-fire at the last second? It's because my eyes are already ready to move. So as I know that I'm closing off this angle where he can't see me from that door, I'm looking over to the right door just in case if he went through that door, and that's around the timing where he would actually be walking out and shooting me. So I knew if he was gonna run out, I'd be able to shoot him. However, he wasn't. So what I did was I closed off this angle and re-swung the main door or the middle door and was able to kill him. Now, if I was just to swing out on that middle door, I would have died if he was to come out that right door. However, me closing off that angle makes me a lot safer to swing that that middle door and not expose myself to too many angles. And that's kind of my thought process through it, and that's also why I did what I did. Now this next round I did absolutely nothing kills and deaths terms wise. I got 1 kill, but it doesn't really matter. But what I did mostly was help my team. So let me go ahead and explain what I did. I exploded that middle door, and the reason why was because my teammate was trying to break it, and I knew if I broke it then people would be able to swing it, and I'm gonna just allow my teammates to swing because they're bots, you know, they're AI. No offense if you guys are watching the video, by the way, but like, you know, they're not me. So, you know, I'm gonna just let them swing and follow them in so I could just get the refrag in case they die. However, that doesn't mean you do nothing. As you can see, I'm holding this angle here on this window. Now why? It's because everyone's really focused on this door and also on the other door, and there's just random people in the hallway that aren't really looking at anything. You don't want to be those players. What you want to do is do what I'm doing, where I'm helping out my team by just looking at this door. In case anyone really just swings this window, they could really swing everyone and kill everyone, but who's really going to look up at this box? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to look up at me? And then after my teammates were running in and they cleared out the area, I ran in with them and got a kill, luckily. But mainly I was just there just in case if they were to die, and I'd be able to re-swing and kill the next person, because I'm sure the next person would have been reloading out of ammo or something else like that. So now let me go ahead and answer this person's question, the big inspiration for the video. They asked if it's good to defend this part of the map. Now, I can't lie, defending every part of the map is good. Keeping the most amount of area away from the enemy is the best that you can do, because if they take a part of the map, that's a part of the map that you don't have control over, and they can easily just rush in on you on multiple points. However, I just like playing in these certain areas for the main reason of, are my teammates there? Because if they aren't, then that means that's an opening. Another one is, how well do I like playing there? You know, how well do I feel like I am playing around the windows and the doors of that? How well do I feel like I can defend that? How much do I like the corners and the objects around that room? As I feel like, you know, playing around what you're most comfortable with will make you play better. Now, right after we won that round, everyone on their team left besides 2 people. So when there's 2 people on their team and you have 6 people on your team, you have 3 times their numbers. So just trade after trade after trade. However, I did the dumber thing to do and I just rushed them, which honestly apparently wasn't that bad of an idea because I just completely wiped them. Now we did the same exact thing next round, where basically I just broke a wall for my teammate, and then he just spawn peeked and killed them both. So that round, or that game, ended really quickly, and there isn't really much to say there. It's just kind of, you know, when your team has more players than the other team, just rush them. Just rush them, because it's pretty much GG's. Anyways, that's the end of the video. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys want me to do this again, I definitely will. The next video that will come out will probably be another challenge. Oh wait, no, actually, okay, the next video that'll come out actually will be the vector video, because I'll be level 12. I think I'm level 12. If I'm not, then I'll play like a game and get level 12 real quick. But that means I'm level 12. I'm able to do the vector video, which a bunch of people have been asking for, and I've been also really wanting to do. But ended that game, I think 8-0. Did pretty good. Thank you guys again for watching. Like and subscribe, and peace.